Hi everybody. My late friend and mentor Richard Denny shared with me a long time ago what I'm about to talk to you about now and share with you. And if you understand this, which is easy to understand, so you will, and embrace and practice this, because adapt, you will definitely get more sales, more referrals, etc., if that's what you're looking for. And what it is this. I'm Steve Q, by the way. Welcome. You can see here we've got a big square, so that's what I'm going to call this video, the big square. And in the big square we're going to draw a cross which makes us 1, 2, 3, 4 little squares. Okay, and this is a system which has been classically proven time and time again to work better than any other system for gaining new customers, for selling. Okay, and it was actually taught to Richard by a gentleman whose name I don't know, but he was the person who mentored and taught Billy Graham, the late Billy Graham, the evangelist preacher who used to preach to Wembley Stadium, you know. He taught him how to speak and how to present, and it's this method. So the first method, the first thing that goes in the first square here is a word you will all be familiar with. It's rapport. What does rapport mean? Rapport means just building up a relationship. Simple. Finding areas of commonality. Two sides to rapport, and we'll go into this in more detail another time. But basically, you want people to feel that you are quite similar. It's interesting, I asked someone years ago if he would buy a better deal off a guy who was maybe a bit of a long-haired guy, didn't wear a suit and a tie like my friend who was an accountant, or a slightly less beneficial deal but off a more conservative guy in a suit and a tie who drove a BMW like him. And categorically he said he'd buy off that guy because he'd just feel the relationship was better. That's rapport in action. One of the other things that we want to do when we talk about building rapport is not only do we want people to feel that they are like us and that they like us, but we also want to feel that we are like them. We also want an element of them thinking, I would like to be a little bit like you as well. So you've got to achieve that balance. But first of all, you build rapport. And the way our friend Billy Graham did it was very simple. He would say to his audience, he was an evangelist preacher, he would say to his audience, at one time, guys, I was just like you. I was in a bad place, I was having problems, I was leading a debaucherous lifestyle of wine, women and song, and I realized that I had to stop. Okay, but he would basically establish that we're all the same. I'm no better than you are just because I'm stood up on this podium, etc., etc. So he'd establish commonality. Then, and this is something you're probably already doing, I hope, he'd talk about the problem. So in that instance, the problem was living this debauched, non-sort of Christian, non-good lifestyle. Okay, so the problem for your customers is whatever your solution will provide for them. Okay, that is to say, you've gone to see them or you're speaking on the telephone to them about something. It could be selling a property, it could be an investment, it could be any number of things. But they've got a problem, that's why you're talking, yeah? Unless you're a professional visitor or telephone companion. Okay, so we highlight the problem. So this is what Billy Graham did, he highlighted the problem. I'm going to go straight to point 4 here, because this is what most people do. And it's called the solution, isn't it? So we've established rapport. We think, oh, he likes me, that's great, we're getting on fine, he's going to invite me around for Sunday dinner if I'm not careful. We talk about the problem, which is obviously the reason why we're there. And then we talk about the solution, don't we? And that's it. And we think, wow, we're going to get the sale. And sometimes we do. But I promise you, if you incorporate this third bit that I'm going to show you, then you will get more sales. You won't win all, but you'll get a few more. And it's this. It's a word called consequences. Probably spelt that very badly. But it's the consequences of taking no action as regards the problem. Okay? So a friend of mine recently said to me, the people who are getting ahead, Steve, are the people who are taking action. And she was dead right, because if you're not taking action, you're not going ahead. And you may think that you're standing still, but we all know the world moves around. It's impossible to stand still. So if you're actually not taking action, you're regressing, you're going backwards. Yeah, so you're definitely taking one step back without taking any steps forward. So this is the real area. This is an area of pain, the problem. And we all know that people will move mountains to avoid pain, okay? But if we highlight the pain by going into the consequences of taking no action about the problem, and listen, if the problem's real, when's the best time for them to take some action about it? That'd be about now, wouldn't it? Now, or now. Yes, yes, or yes. You know the script, guys. So it's all about the consequences. So again, going back to our friend Billy Graham, he would then present the consequences of carrying on with a debauched lifestyle that would end up, you know, in hell and brimstone and all that sort of thing. And then he would present the solution. And in his case, it's not my recommendation, I'm not here to talk about religion or spirituality, but in his case, the solution was to follow Jesus Christ by and accept the blood and the bread and whatnot through him and walk up onto the stage and shake hands. So that was the solution. So this is the order that you've got to do things in. Establish the rapport, establish the commonality, talk about the problem, and then really focus on the consequences of taking no action. This is the most powerful part, because this problem, if you don't take any action on it, John, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to become bigger and more scary and more of a problem than it already is today. So again, what's the best time to take some action on it and get the problem out of the way? That'd be now, and here's the solution. Okay, and that's your product or service or offering or consultancy or whatever it may be. So this type of technique is the sort of thing that I used a few years ago when I was working with an organization you may have heard of called Siemens, and in just under 3 months we managed to get their telesales team's results up by a whopping 74%, using and practicing and getting better at this type of thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've got some value from it. Please subscribe, please share, please watch it a million times, recommend it to your friends, and do get in touch if you'd like to have a chat about consultancy or mentoring. I'm available for you 24/7. I'm Steve Q. Cheers.